everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Keep Leading Podcast. The Keep Leading Podcast is dedicated to leadership development and insights. I'm your host, Eddie Turner, the Leadership Accelerator. I work with leaders to accelerate performance and drive impact through the power of executive coaching, masterful facilitation, and professional keynote speeches. We're broadcasting on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And we are just incredibly excited to talk about the topic we're going to talk about today. I am with Daphne Dickoff. Daphne is a phenomenal executive coach, and she's added a new title to her repertoire, and that is author. She's the author of Make Friends with Your Imposter. And so I've invited her to be my guest today on the Keep Leading podcast so that we can all learn how to keep leading by making friends with our imposter. Daphne, welcome to the Keep Leading podcast.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for having me. So excited.
Well, I am excited to have you here. It's been a little while since we've been together in person. Tell my listeners a little bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the space of leadership development and organizational transformations for about 25 years or so. I first started out as a management consultant in strategic consulting and then went on to becoming a coach, trainer, and a leadership and executive coach. That's what I'm doing now. I have my own company and I coach and consult leaders worldwide, organizations worldwide. I usually am between Europe and the US. I live in the US, but my second home basically still is in Europe. So that's always exciting to see also the cultural differences between companies and leaders.
Well, you certainly have a well-rounded perspective and a first-hand one at that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. And you bring that to your clients. And along the way, you were motivated to write this book about imposters. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Well, Eddie, first of all, I grew up in Switzerland, but then I left when I was about 14, so in the teenage years, forming years, as you may say. And I always felt like I'm not fitting in, right? So wherever I was going, I didn't fit in. And I then thought, like, I'm just the odd one out. And I felt like an imposter. I was trying to fit in. Was it the language or the accent or, about cultural context? I didn't know. And very late in my career, I gotta say, I realized, hey, this is actually a thing that happens to other people as well. It's not just me. And when I started, working together with more leaders, also in their personal development, I realized it's happening all the time. It's coming up in almost all my coachings.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was working on it myself for a long time, I realized I got to help people to work with their imposters and level it up for what it is and what it can be. And I don't like repeating myself over and over again, and I don't feel like I want to be a teacher on this. So I thought if I wrote a book, I could just give people like a chapter of it, and I didn't have to repeat myself, and they didn't have to listen to me all the time.
And now they can read your wisdom. That's excellent.
I don't know about wisdom, but yes.
A lot of people now, when you, well, let's say this. A lot of people have heard this phrase, but for the those who may not have heard it before, can you define what we are talking about when we say the imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Oh, that's so important. Thanks, Eddie. Yes, it's usually has three elements really. People who don't feel like they're enough, people who feel like they're just about to be found out, that they're an imposter, a fraud, that they actually don't belong where they are, and people who think they have to go get more, do more, be more, and it's never enough. And this is sort of a feeling you have within yourself all the time.
Hmm. And where does those feelings come from?
There's some there's some research suggesting it comes from our childhood, how, whether we've been always said, yeah, you're not good enough, or whether we've always said, oh, we expect more from you. Both areas, actually. So as a parent, if you're listening as a parent, you have to do it wrong anyway. But to be honest with you, all my research and all my coaching sessions, I'm realizing it's almost everybody. I think there's only a very few talented, gifted, and special individuals who are just so happy with themselves, so well-rounded that they don't feel that, or then they're narcissists or psychopaths. They also don't have it. But everybody else pretty much feels like an imposter, a part of their lives, or at sometimes in their lives.
So it's interesting to hear you say that. You're saying almost everyone, unless they're a narcissist, has these feelings of being an imposter.
Yeah, not just narcissists, really. I know, luckily I have a whole bunch of people around me, friends and family members, who don't feel like that. So I could always test it with them. Is it just me? Do you feel this as well? Is this like global, or how does it relate to others? But it is pretty much, and it depends, right? So whether you have it on a daily basis, whether it just comes up when you're doing really difficult things. And so I think that's where most of us have it. When you're attempting something new, something slightly scary for the first time, that's when we feel, do I really have it? I think other people are doing it better. Me writing a book, right? I mean, there's authors out there who've written about this. So who am I to write this book? That's when it comes up. And then when you calm yourself down again and realize, hey, you have something to offer, you are unique, and you can do the hard things, that's when you're growing from it. And that's where the beauty lies in it.
All right. Well, walk us through what making friends with your imposter looks like.
So basically, making friends with your imposter is about accepting it. Right? The first step is you're realizing you sometimes have those feelings and you're okay with it. And you know you're not alone. And you don't have to sit in the corner and wait until it's over, right? But you can actually proactively do something about it. That's pretty much what it is. And then there's several strategies how to do that. But yeah.
Please share one strategy how I can make friends with my imposter.
Yeah. So basically, let's start at the very beginning. When you've accepted it, that you've got it, then it's very important to notice in your body and in your reactions when it's happening, right? So imagine you're just about to start a podcast, maybe with a new platform you never worked on. And you're like, oh, this might go wrong. I'm not really sure how to do this. Oh, am I really good enough? Should I have asked somebody else who is more experienced than me to do this? Usually what we can feel it somewhere in our body, or definitely we have sort of these negative thought patterns that come in. And when we realize that happens often, we can start to recognize it and maybe pause just for a second. Ideally, you can go really deep into, all right, turning your mind around, but that comes later. First step really is, oh, I'm noticing this. All right, is it going to derail? Is it going to take over? Is it going to go in what I call imposter hijack? Or will I be able to sort of steer how this is going to go?
Well, what's the difference between these feelings of being an imposter, a fraud that you described there, and what some might call healthy sense of self-doubt or humility?
Yeah. I think it's the difference might be very slim or gradual, and depending where you are at, not so significant. The underlying factor is when you have a doubt, like I can't do it, but okay, but I can do it, and it's over too quickly, and it doesn't feel like it's going to destroy you, then it's maybe not imposter. But when you really feel, I I feel it in my body. There's fear coming up, heart racing, maybe sweaty palms, everything that comes with stress and anxiety. In the moment that you're feeling it, then it's pretty sure that you have what we're calling imposter feeling. And by the way, that's why I'm not calling it imposter syndrome as well, because it's not a medical diagnosis. It's just something, as I said, almost everybody's going through. And it's not a condition that we cannot get away with or that we cannot deal with.
Excellent. So we want to focus on the word choice there, you're saying, and that when we talk about a syndrome, then that's medical and more clinical. And
Yeah.
by talking about imposter feelings, that takes it out of that realm.
Yeah. Or experience or emotions or, voices that you hear. There's a variety of things that you can call it as well. But let's not call it a syndrome because it's not.
Okay. Well, you focused on the idea that many people have these feelings
Yeah.
of the imposter. Is there one group that's affected more than another? Since you said so many are impacted by it.
There's a lot of research done on psychology students, I guess, medical students, because they're an easy target, I want to say, to question. So we can see that those populations have it a lot. There is some research seeing if minority groups have it stronger. And I recently had a conversation with a colleague of mine who said, in my culture, it's just not accepted you have no choice. Maybe it's some kind of a, well, are you privileged that you can actually even think about self-doubts? We have, back in the day, she said, we just had to work. We couldn't think whether we're good enough about it or not. And so yes, and there's also the question about, is it more women? So at the very beginning, when the research was done, there were women in the focus, right? So we thought at the beginning, so Dr. Pauline Rose Clance, who did the first, who coined the term imposter phenomenon, she thought it was just women because she had been working with highly successful academic women, and she saw a lot of these same traits that she's now, that we're now calling imposter phenomenon or syndrome. But later on, there's been a lot of research. No, it's actually everyone. I would say when I talk with leaders, no matter what, sexual preference, orientation, skin color, hair length, I can hear it every time, right? As I said, there's these few exceptions who don't have it, but other than that, you can see it in any shape, form, or color.
All right. Well, thank you for giving us that research and that perspective of what that looks like, because that can be something that people worry about. Am I more predisposed to it because of my gender or my background or profession even? So
Yeah.
very, very nice to have that clarity. In your book, you give several examples and you provide models from other great authors who've really laid this out. Is there a nice framework of your own that you'd like to share with us this time?
Yes, so thank you, Eddie. So I came up after all the research I've done on other frameworks and also the work that I've done with the leaders that I work with on a daily basis. A really straightforward, I call it the imposter strategy framework. And what it is, I love matrices. So it's a matrix. It has four quadrants. And it distinguishes between whether something is short-term or long-term in terms of the effect, and whether something is internal or external, right? So within myself, or do I do it with others? And so I have 4 names for these 4 quadrants. So the first quadrant I call first aid. It's got to do with quick things. It's just for me. I realize the imposter is coming up. Some feelings are here. What can I do to turn myself around, right? Something like tracking my compliments that I've gotten before and looking at them, doing a mindfulness moment, or do something physical, like do a few push-ups, or when you're in the middle of a meeting and it's getting rough, saying, can we do a bio break, things like that.
So you're jumping in the middle of meetings, dropping down doing push-ups?
Yeah, why not,
You're tough.
right?
You're making me feel a little bit sorry for myself right now. I got to change my afternoon activities.
Not that I can do many push-ups, but that's just between you and me. I'm
No,
still
the fact you're
trying.
doing any, that's impressive.
So that's that whole, quick remedy that's first aid. You can do it. It's quick. It's subtle. People might not notice it. It can do with breathing techniques, things like that. But then more long term, you really want to cultivate your resilience, right? You want to build up that resilience that when those imposter feelings come, they don't really shake you anymore. And those are things like you look at failures, you look at small wins. It's all about tracking them and making the best of it. Learn from your failures. It's also about just looking at the challenges and challenge yourself to go for the challenge, right? Can I
Hmm.
do that? Is it too hard for me? Just slightly too hard. All right, I will do it, and things like that. Really important. Just build up that resilience. Go with gratitude. Maybe look at the inner team. So there's many tools that you can use there, but it's all about making sure you're strong when it hits you next time that you're not expecting it. Now, then let's look at the other side of the matrix where we're looking a bit more on external things that we can do as well. So, sorry, long-term things, and for example, the long-term and sort of external, but you have to internalize it. That's why I just jumped over my words. Is the whole vision aspect. So once you have a vision set up for yourself, you know where you're going, you have goals, you're aligning every step. Those challenges don't feel so hard anymore. You have a purpose. You know where you're going, and you can set up each and every like imposter moment to get more challenge and to really get one step further on your vision. Be it with, like if you have a vision board, you can then say, okay, I've done this. If you're tracking your goals, whatever, however you're tracking this. And it's all about what are my expectations and what am I doing? Do I have to be winning it this first time? Can I maybe learn from my experiences? If you look at this as a lifelong learning exercise, you're always going to learn something, and then you're going to grow, and you're eventually going closer and closer to your vision. But you have to have that. If you're just doing it day by day, you don't know if you're going to achieve it. And then last but not least, the external support system. So who are your people? Who has got your back when you're feeling down? Who are mentors or role models you want to look up or connect with? And maybe external support system could also be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a coach, a mentor, a guide, you name it, a teacher if you're looking at kids, because believe it or not, kids these days deal with a lot of imposter feelings. So those 4 quadrants: first aid, resilience, vision, and support system. When you have it all in and set up, I think you're really good to go. And imposter feelings are just like a little nudge to work on yourself and nothing more.
Thank you. What's been your relationship with imposter feelings?
Yeah. As I said, as far as I can remember, I've always felt out of place, always felt like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not articulate enough. And so I've been working on it myself, and I realized 2 things. One of it is when you believe in yourself and you know you got the tools to work on yourself, it's easier. And also if you're in a surrounding that appreciates what you're doing, if you're in the right setting, then it's also easier to see, hey, I'm actually doing great work, and people do get something from me, and I'm not a total loser and I'm not a total fraud. And so the setting and the self-belief is really important.
Thank you. And if someone is listening to us or watching this broadcast and they're thinking, I'm not good enough for this job, this relationship, or for this level of success, what advice would you like for them to hear from you right
Yeah. I mean, once you open up about this and confide in someone, you'll realize you're not alone. And the more people you ask about these kind of feelings, the more often you'll hear, oh, yeah, totally been there. I've done that. And then it's more a journey together. So find a few people who you can really trust, confide in them, and get them to push you, get them to be your coaches, your sponsors, your fan crew, right? And then you will see it's easier when you're not alone, and you're not alone in this.
Yes, apparently, especially based on the numbers that you've shared, knowing that you're not alone is often a nice source of motivation for people to get past those stubborn, persistent
Yeah,
feelings.
yeah, for sure.
Very nice. What's the most important message you want to make sure that people take away from our conversation today?
Yeah. Um, you know, feeling like a fraud is not an excuse. It's just a nudge for you to work on yourself and go embrace that and see what you can do with it because there's so much good stuff out here. So we don't need to be buried down and think we're the only odd one out. We're just one of many, many, many people who feel the same way.
Great, thank you. And I always ask on the Keep Leading podcast, what's your favorite quote or favorite piece of leadership wisdom that you've heard that you use that helps you to keep leading?
Yeah. It's luck comes to those who are prepared, right?
All right, excellent, thank you. And where can people learn more about you?
Yeah, my website, www.daphnedickoff.com.
Excellent. And for those who are listening to this on C Suite Radio or wherever you download your podcast, Daphne is spelled DaphneDickOff. DaphneDickoff.com. Well, we look forward to reading your book. Thank you for the advance copy you gave me and seeing the success that you have as you continue to impact people around the world so that they can keep leading.
Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it.
And thank you for listening. That concludes this episode, everyone. I'm Eddie Turner, the Leadership Accelerator, reminding you that leadership is not about our title or our position. Leadership is action. Leadership is an activity. It's not a garment that we simply put on or take off. It must emanate from our core and be seen in everything that we do. So, no matter what you're doing, always keep leading.